Aloha, welcome to iTeach808, Empowering Hawaii's Teachers in Technology Conference, sponsored by the Augustine Educational Foundation and Sacred Hearts Academy, Honolulu. My name is Debbie, and I'll be facilitating this session. We're so honored to have Alyssa Myers join us today and share her expertise through a 45-minute presentation named Canva for Education, Part 2, Tips and Tricks. Please be aware that we'll be recording this session, and if you don't wish to be recorded, you may consider turning off your camera during the session or reviewing the recording afterwards. The recording will be made available on YouTube and shared on iTeach808's website a week after this event. During the presentation, please keep your microphones muted. So now let's give Alyssa a warm aloha.
Thank you. Thanks for that introduction, Debbie. Hi, everyone. I'm Alyssa. I'm the high school media teacher at Sacred Hearts Academy. And I've been presenting at iTeach808 for many years. Last year was the first year I think we went virtual. So hopefully if you were able to log in last year or even at some of the sessions prior, you've been enjoying yourself, learning something. But I am going to share more about Canva. So this is actually my second presentation. And sorry, am I frozen? What's going on here? Oops. 1 second. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And if you would like to follow along on your own, thank you, Debbie, for putting the link to my presentation in the chat. Otherwise, you can just punch it in on your computer down here. Otherwise, I will just be sharing my screen here on Zoom so you can just follow along. But as I said in my past presentations, you probably want to bookmark this slide show just because I like to use my presentations beyond today, beyond this session, so that you can use it as a guide or a reference for when you're sitting in your classroom and you're working with this program website. So go ahead and give you some time to pull it up while I set up over here. All right, so I'm just gonna jump right into it as we let more people in. So this is part 2 of Canva for Education. So there is Canva, which is a free version of this website. So it's like a graphic design website. Canva for Education, however, it's for educators, for students. And the awesome part about it is that it does give you access to everything that a paid subscription would give you. And all you have to do, which I went over in my first presentation, which you can access here, I show you how to create an account. It's really simple. You fill out a form and you have to upload proof of a teaching credential is what they call it. So all I did when I signed up was I uploaded a picture of, literally just took a picture with my phone of my school ID. That was enough to confirm that I was a teacher. So I know when I first created a Canva for Education account, like whenever they first created it, like a couple years ago or a year ago, it took a while for them to confirm and approve my account, but now you should get an email confirmation within a few minutes. So hopefully that's not a problem for you folks. But again, in case you missed it, you can go to my first presentation here, and I just went over how to get started and kind of did a quick overview of the interface and what features are available to you and your students and how to share your project and where you can share it to. So this presentation is more in depth. I hope I can get through all of the tips. I have so many tips and tricks that I'd love to share. I whittled it down to just 10 for this presentation. And so I'm just gonna kind of go through them. Feel free to put any questions you have in the chat and I'll try my best to field them as I'm presenting. Otherwise, I'll definitely address them toward the end of the session. Or just feel free to interject and ask if you have a question while I'm presenting. But thank you so much for joining us. I know it's probably been a long day for most of you, teaching and then sitting through these these sessions, well, hopefully you're learning some things. So this, again, like I said, I'm hoping to use this I hope you can use this presentation as a reference. So anything you see here in this turquoise color, I guess it is, it's just a hyperlink to some of the, either a shortcut to a URL, or in this case, it's just a hyperlink table of contents to some of the slides that I'm referring to and that I'll go through, kind of like a quick jumping point. So I'm just gonna go through these 10 tips, and I hope I can get through all of them, but basically just showing you, you know, how templates, how awesome they are, first off, and how you can really save time with them. And then also how you're able to, which is nice, you're able to borrow elements from one template to another. And for you math or science teachers, or, you know, any teacher or any project you have where you want to share data in a visual way, you can go ahead. I'll show you how to do that. And then there are some shortcuts, that keyboard shortcuts, that may be helpful to use for you. You don't have to know them, but I would just wanted to share some of them. And then I'm just going to go over, you know, the specifics. So editing specific elements, how to make it to your liking. And then tip number 6, how you can collaborate with your students and how your students collaborate with each other digitally, just as you would with a Google Doc, you know, being able to add comments. And I think in Canva, they added something where you can add a sticker as a teacher, like a good job on your students' design or whatnot. And then these are some new things, 7 and 8 were recently added to Canva, because of course, Canva is always, it's constantly changing and evolving and improving, definitely for the better. But I'll show you how you're able to, after you have a design, or if it's like a PowerPoint, how you can record and edit videos in Canva, and then also how you can go live on Canva with your class. And then these last ones are just kind of a review of where you can find some of the free music and the images and the stock videos. And then this I was kind of excited about because I think they just added it, is just being able to edit a PDF. I know we get a lot of forms as teachers and educators coming from the office, right? Like, fill out this form, and you have to either print it out, and then, you know, so they're printed out and handwrite and then submit it to the office, or you have to scan it with your phone. There's a way to edit a document in Canva as well. So I'll go over that. So for the first tip, real quickly, there are thousands of templates, like literally thousands of templates in Canva. And it's nice because, as I showed in my first presentation, you can, and I'll show again here, manipulate how you want to search by theme through filters, colors, whatnot. And I'll show you how you can kind of real quickly go through the templates and bookmark them, and then kind of whittle it down to what you like or what you don't end up not liking. And your students might want to do this too, because trust me, it's easy to, I guess, quote unquote, waste time looking through all the templates, because there are a lot. So let me just go through that real quick. So I'm just going to jump out of this, go to Canva. All right, so here's Canva, the back end of it. And as I mentioned, right, this is just templates for education presentations. And I'm just going to scroll through, and say you like one, but you're not sure yet. So you can go ahead, and there's this star right here. You can star them just as you would in like Google Drive, right? Bookmark them to look at later. And if you hover over some of them, so like the ones with the play symbol, they're actually like video templates. So you can hover over it and just leave your mouse cursor over it, and it'll kind of just like thumb through the different slides if you want to get a quick preview. So I'm just going to go through, maybe I like this one. So this is just a tip on how to save time. Save yourself time with all that there is available. And so I think for me, it took me a little while to figure out, okay, where did all my starred templates go? Like the ones that I like. So I say I like that one. And to find that, you just go to your home page. And this is good for your students too, because I know my students spend a lot of time on templates. I'm like, okay, choose one. And you're just gonna go to all your folders, and you're gonna see a folder called starred. Basically, that's where all of them went. And it did take me some time to find that. I don't know why, but hopefully that helps you. And then you can go and you can be like, oh, you know, maybe I don't really like this one anymore. So it's just easier just because there's so much, it can be overwhelming. And then, yeah, so that's kind of my first tip on how to save time finding templates. And my second tip is more about templates, borrowing from templates. So I'm going to actually dig into one of these that I bookmarked, maybe two actually. I'm going to show you how you can borrow elements, as they're called, from one template, put it in another one and customize it and edit it, because as it is with Canva, any template you see here can be edited. It can be customized to your liking. So like that one, I just clicked on it and it enlarged it so I could see. So these are actually really nice. You don't even have to really customize it. These would be nice for an elementary school teacher who's teaching numbers, right? And creating little flashcards like this. You could literally just print this and give them to your students if you wanted. So there's one. And then I'm going to choose, I guess, let's see, this one right here. Use this template. So right now, as you can see, hopefully you can bring it down there. In my tabs, I have two different designs going. So as simple as maybe I want to just work off of this one right here, this design. Look how cute these are. And I just wanna, maybe I like something from here. I'm just gonna take these numbers and I'm just gonna hold shift. Oops. And I'm gonna just select all of these real quickly. And I'm just clicking with my mouse. So what I'm gonna do is say I like this little number set right here, file. You can actually, I just usually do, what I do is I do Command C on my keyboard. And so I'm gonna jump over to this design that I'm working off of and Command V. And it should paste it. There we go. My computer is lagging, I apologize. So there you see it, right? And you can move it around to your liking. You can get rid of some stuff, but it does save time when you do this, because especially if your students are partial to a couple designs and they can't just decide. But it's a really great, again, I can't emphasize enough, Canva is such a good learning tool for a teacher, a teaching tool for a teacher, and a learning tool for a student, just because being a teacher for so long, it's like you use the same materials over and over and over year after year, and it's just nice to give your materials a makeover. And for your students too, they have so much fun changing the colors, changing the fonts, making it their own, and a place where they can get creative as well. So that was a little bit of how you can, you know, customize your own design by blending a few templates. And just real quickly, just in case, because I don't know all of your, I guess, how familiar all of you are with Canva, but I'm just going to real quickly, so go over what I went over in my part one, just the interface real quick. So if you're wondering like how to change the color or how to change the font of something, one thing you got to make sure is you select the item you want to manipulate. So for instance, if I wanted to change the font of just this, just make sure you click on it. And notice over here, there's no menu right now, right? And if you click on it, then you're going to see, okay, oh, now I can change the font, change the size, color, and there's just so much you can do. You can change the transparency, and you can even make things upper lowercase. So that's just a little tip too, just because it's easy to miss this menu because it's sort of tucked in there. And then just real quickly, on the left-hand side, this toolbar or this menu right here. So this is where you can kind of thumb around and look at other templates. Right here, it's showing me, I guess, colorful, scrapbook, nostalgia. Oh, so it's just going off of this template I chose and it's showing me similar ones. Otherwise, I just went back and you can choose different templates. There are a lot. And then this is what I was mentioning with filtering your search when you want to search different themes, or excuse me, different templates, different elements, different photos. You can go ahead, you can search by color, apply the filter. And if I specifically want like newspaper type themes, oh, I don't have that, maybe news. I guess that's the closest we're gonna get. But again, I can always customize it. And then just going down through these tabs. So clip art, you got stock photos, thousands, videos. So I teach video productions and journalism, and just having this place as a resource for my students to find stock photo or even just videos is amazing, and music as well, just because it's so hard for students to find royalty-free music nowadays without getting in trouble, of course, because I tell them anything you hear on the radio, you can't use in your projects just because we don't want to get in trouble. It's copyrighted, right? So this is a place where you can definitely find tons of stuff that you won't get in trouble using. You can also upload your original media. So these are some photos that I have of my students. We do a news show. You can upload your own video clips. And if your students want to upload maybe voice recordings that they recorded themselves in the voice memo app on their iPad or their parents' phones, or if they have their own phones, they can upload it here as well. And then again, here's a little more. Elements is kind of like your overview of all of that, of like all your different media. But if you want to go more in depth and look specifically at photos, you can kind of thumb through here. Text. So here's where you can add, if you're missing, if you want to add a text box because maybe this one doesn't have, or you want to have a second one, you can just do that by clicking on here and it just shows up, and then you can kind of just edit it there. Hello, move it around, click and drag. One thing to note, if you're not familiar, is see that purple line, fuchsia? If you see that pop up, it's kind of telling you that your element is centered. That might not really matter too much to you, but that's just a little tip. I have a background in graphic design, so it does matter to me if things are really a little off, or so I like that feature especially. And as I mentioned in my first presentation, I've been using Photoshop and like Illustrator and Lightroom for years, design software that I remember having to take classes, spending hours trying to figure out how to learn it. And but with Canva, it's just like this showed up a few years ago and it was like, wow, I don't even have to have all the experience. I can just do all of that here for free. So it's really awesome that it's opened up to educators and students. And you'll see these templates down here as well that you can play with your students. Yeah, but that's just a quick overview of the interface. And then I will go over how to share as well. So just jumping real quickly back to my presentation. So that was tip number 2. I wish I could spend more time on each tip. And I'm kind of breezing through. So this is what I was mentioning. Science and math teachers love Canva too, just because it's a great way for their students to share data, right, in a visual way. So this is just an example you're seeing here, a bar graph. I did hyperlink. So if you are going through my presentation, any of the turquoise underline text in here are just quick shortcuts for you. So this is just a link to some of the pie chart templates that are out there. And I really, honestly, I just went up to the search bar and just put pie chart or bar graph. So you'll see that kind of stuff. Look how pretty these are. These are so fun, and you can change them. Let's see, flowchart. So, I mean, beyond science and beyond math, you know, you can use these visual, these charts for any subject or any assignment. And then these are just something I wanted to throw out there. Of course, you don't have to use it, but some keyboard shortcuts for you to screenshot or just have in the back of your mind. You might just only use the letter T for text, or but there are shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts, because I know I have friends actually that work at corporate companies that are using Canva just because it's so professional. But they're doing designs all day, so it's nice to have these shortcuts, and it's nice for your students too, if they are doing a lot of designing and they just want to have an easier way to get to some of these tools. So I'm not going to quiz you on this. This is just for you to know. All right. So this is tip number 5 is just being able to edit the specific elements. So I kind of already went over this actually, but I will show it again. So just knowing, I think the main thing is that, and I know it can be frustrating, especially for my students. They're like, how do I change the font, or how do I change the color? Again, just make sure it's selected, the feature itself, and then it'll pop up on the top where you can change the font and stuff like that. And it's nice too, because your students or yourself, you can hyperlink within Canva. So if you make, for instance, a flyer for your class or for your club, and you email it out to the faculty and faculty and students, you can hyperlink a link to your sign-up sheet. And all they have to do from that PDF is just click it and it should take them to the website. So definitely a plus in that regard. And then being able to change and manipulate, the transparency and even animating, which I'll show again. Let's see, let me just jump back. I'm going to close that one. Let's jump back to this. So let's see. Oh, here's a fresh one. So again, selecting it and say I want to animate this text. So select it and I'm going to go up here to animate. There's also this is fun, effects. You can add shadows, stuff like that. But going back to animating, you just click and you can pretty much just hover over. I'm just with my cursor hovering over the different options. And you can kind of see, what it's going to look like. So this one ascends, this one shifts. And one thing I noted in my first presentation was that anything you see with this little crown on the bottom is basically just saying this is like a premium account feature. So like in your free Canva account, you wouldn't be able to use it, but you can kind of just disregard it in your Canva for Education account just because you can use it for free. So we're just going to use one of these. So here's one drift. So that's how you animate. And then let's see, if you click on these 3 dots, you can do even more. You can, like I mentioned, change the transparency. So basically, say this text is too dark for me and I want to, so I went to the 3 dots, transparency, just bring it down a little bit. I don't know why you would make the text this light, but I'm just showing you. Sometimes you might have an image that's a little too dark, or maybe your background's a little too dark and text is hard to read. So, these are all useful tools. And I know Word does anything, Microsoft Word, but you can just easily write all capitals, lower uppercase, underline. So that's kind of like the toolbar I wanted to go over to show you folks how to further customize the features in here. And then this is where these 2 chains is where you'll hyperlink things. You can hyperlink to another page in your presentation, or an outside resource as well. So really nice for research projects that your students might be doing and they want to send the user or the viewer to outside sources, right? Okay. All right, so in my 6th tip is I love Canva because it's a great way to collaborate with your students, or having your students collaborate with each other for group assignments or just working in pairs. It's something you can do on any device. So your students can be on their phones, opening up a design that their partner worked on last night, and they can edit from there. There is not an app yet for Canva. It's just a website right now, but I'm sure, I have no doubt there will soon be an app, and I'll probably be teaching that next iTeach808. But it's just like with Google Classroom, or Google Docs, right? Or you can see when the other user is on and what they're editing. So same thing with Canva. And one example I will share of how I personally use Canva for my students to collaborate on is because I teach journalism, they do a lot of graphic design for their articles. So I always encourage them to not only write a print article, but incorporate other forms of media. So whether it's a photo essay of a topic to accompany their article or an infographic, they often find themselves using Canva. And so my students will create an infographic and they will collaborate digitally. So some of my students are actually at home doing distance learning, and I have students in person. So it's a great tool for distance learning, especially. But I'll have them collaborate on a design that they're gonna put together for an article they're working on. So that's just an example. I'm sure there are many more ways that students can collaborate out there that you can think of or you might be using in your classrooms. And now I'm kind of getting into some of the new stuff that Canva has definitely, I don't know, I'm not totally new, but they've definitely expanded on these features since first launching. So for teachers, tip number 7, recording and editing videos. So for teachers, from the teachers I've talked to who use Canva specifically for this feature, they like it because it's a great way to do like a flipped classroom type learning. So they can explain lessons, record themselves explaining something, demonstrating something, send it to their kids on Google Classroom. And it's nice. It's a really easy, it's a one-stop shop kind of place if you don't have iMovie to edit videos and, send it to your students. For students, like I mentioned, in my classrooms, I know, and like most of you, all of you probably, always encouraging students to learn new technology and sharpen their skills. So when it comes to multimedia, this is a great tool to really get them going in that area, and creating engaging presentations as well, or projects. And they're also able to record themselves. So whether it's recording themselves on their webcam from their laptop, or maybe they use their smartphone or their iPads to record themselves or record something, they can import it and put it into their projects and edit those videos. Otherwise, they can totally just edit some of the stuff the stock videos and footage or photos that are in there. So let me just actually, so after this slide right here, which is just kind of overview, I have the steps, the 5 steps, and it's pretty in depth. But again, use it as you will on your own time as kind of just like a breakdown of what to do if you would like to record and edit videos on your own. So I will actually go through how to do that right now. Just give me one sec. I'm going to switch over. Let's find a different design. So I'm going to create a new design. And I'm going to choose educational video here. It's nice because it's going to show up with a bunch of video templates. They're all animated. But right now, so I just started the blank one. So let me just select one. What is this one? This looks fun. I'm going to apply all 5 pages. So you see that my canvas just became populated with this template here. So let me just go over real quickly. So I chose a design and now I'm going to customize it. And I'm going to add maybe some other icons, maybe take away some that's already here. And then I'm also going to show you how you can add your own original media, as I mentioned. And also, if you want to, if you are like recording a lesson that you have and you want to do a screen share, you can do that as well. And how to actually go in and edit it. So here we go. So you have this template, and I'm going to go ahead and change. I keep typing hello. We're going to maybe take out some, maybe I want to take out this. I'm just going to do that. Maybe I want to change the background. So you just select the background. You can choose any color. Ooh, that's kind of harsh. Play around there. But notice on the bottom, so this is the video editor itself. It's very basic, but it gets the job done. It's no iMovie, but or Final Cut Pro, but it's good enough for, you know, like a quick PSA or any kind of short video you want to have your students do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say I start here. You can see when I hover over each or select each picture, you can see how long each picture is. Right now, each is 5 seconds just by default. But if you're familiar with iMovie or not, you can easily just click and drag the edges to expand, lengthen it to 13 seconds. Maybe make it shorter. So there are within each photo options. And if I click on these little 3 dots, there's more I can do. I can add transitions, split the clip. So it breaks it up there, makes it into 2. Maybe I want to just delete it. I mean, there's just so much you can do within this free app. So it will probably take your students some practice using, but knowing them, they'll probably get it quickly. But let me just show you. So I'm just going to hit play and we'll just preview. So you see that the cursor here as it progresses, right, through the edit, you're seeing your video here. Again, similar to iMovie or any editing app. And this is the one I put for 13 seconds long, so it's on for a long time. And now I think I need to add music, and that's what it's telling me here too. Add audio tracks here. So let's add a song. So I'm going to the audio tab. And as you can see, as you go through the library, there are a lot of songs. You can also search, right? You're looking for happy songs. All the happy songs will show up. You can preview it by just clicking it. You don't have to. And it's nice and it's refreshing because you don't have to hear the same iMovie, I guess, songs that our students love to use. The limited ones that they are able to use in iMovie. There are so many in here. And you're able to see as well how long each song is. So this one's about 2 minutes, this one's 3 minutes. You can search by that if you only want something that's a minute. Okay, so say I like that one. So all you have to do, honestly, is you just click it. And I just clicked Be Happy, and you're seeing it now as an audio file at the bottom down here. And this I can move. So I'm just clicking and making it longer. I'm moving it over so that I'm clicking and dragging on my mouse. So now when I play it, there's some nice music. It's even as detailed as showing me the sound waves, which is nice. Something you might find in Final Cut Pro, which is also what I teach in my classrooms. And if you don't like it, just click it and you hit delete on your keyboard, and you can just your students can keep doing that. Within the editor, you're able to add transitions. And that would be, you can either do it one of 2 ways. You can click this plus sign and add a transition, or you can add another page. You can do dissolves, pretty basic. Otherwise, you can just, again, hold Option, click on the image, and add or manipulate the transition from here. So this is just a good, I mean, you don't even have to edit from this template. You can, again, like if you have a video of yourself teaching, or you did a screen recording of your lesson and you want to put it in there, and your students at home that are learning from home, or a student that missed class that day, it's just a real quick way that they can view the lesson for that day. So yeah, you're not only limited to just this template. There's just, but that's just kind of the basic of editing. And then once you finish your video, say I'll add this song, like it, put it in there. I'm gonna share it, I'm gonna export it. And so anything you do that's related to sharing or downloading, or you're gonna find it up here in the top right-hand corner. So first off, you can have make sure you wanna name your file. I just called it hello. You can just type it in there. You can share it here. Your students can share it from Canva and just put your email in and you'll get an email. but no teacher wants to get like 100 emails with 100 different designs. So let's go to how else your students might share their projects with you. They can go to this download option, which allows them to download it as a video file, which this is obviously, or if they want to just download one of their slides, they can do that by just choosing like PNG or JPEG. And then otherwise they can choose here which pages they want to download and send to you. Otherwise, there is this option. They can just share it directly to Google Classroom, or they can also download from here as well. So those are just a couple ways that you can share your designs, or your students can share your designs. In my classroom, my students will usually just download it directly to their computers as, for instance, this is just as a movie file, and then they'll upload it themselves to Classroom, or they'll email it. It's rare, but maybe they'll email it to another classmate from after exporting it to their computer. So again, everything I just said, the step-by-step in 5 easy steps are here in my slides. Am I good? Oh, I have 10 minutes. Okay. Okay, and so the last few steps, I think I'll probably spend more time on this, but going live. So, I mean, it's not probably a feature most teachers would use, but I just thought I wanted to highlight it just because, again, with some students maybe at home doing distance learning, or maybe you're doing a presentation to some teachers for faculty PD and you guys are all on Zoom, this is a good place to go as well, or to consider Canva as a place to present. And so, like I mentioned, right, it's easy, it's nice for teaching remotely, but it's also a nice way to engage with your students or whomever you're teaching or you're presenting to, because it is, and I'll show you in a second, a place where they can add questions or comments or reactions. So again, following slides will show you the step-by-step in, I think I did it in 5 steps, how to do it. But I will just show you real quickly. So you basically want to, once you finish the design, you're gonna just go back to that presentation options in the 3 little dots there. And you're gonna go to present, and then hit present. And so I hope you guys can see this. I'm just gonna mute this for now. So I am presenting, and I'm screen sharing maybe, but if I wanna get a little more interactive, I'm gonna go down here, and it could be easy to miss, but if you look down the bottom where I'm hovering over, this is where you can go live with your students or faculty. So I'm gonna click that and I'm gonna start a live session. So similar to like Kahoot, which is another awesome app that we use in our classrooms, all your students have to do is just go to canva.live and then log in with this code right here. I'm hoping you can see it because mine is covered with, oops. But yeah, so they'll just go to canva.live and then enter that code right there. And then from there, they can ask questions in here and they'll see your screen. Again, it may not be something you will use or your students would use, but it's just definitely good to know that it's there. I can see your students using it maybe as a way to present their projects. I'm just ending my live session. It's really easy. And of course, you're only live with the students or with whomever has that code. So you're not going to be live on the, I guess, beyond your students or beyond your classroom. Okay, so that was, I'm looking at some of the questions. So Laurel, is the music copyright free and can you use it and post online? Yes, everything here is copyright free. And you are able to use it in edits that you will put online. So that's what I was mentioning earlier. It's so awesome because I know it's so hard for our students to find. I know you teach media as well. So it's so hard to find copyright free music, you know, nowadays, and music that's not the same stuff we're hearing from like iMovie, the iMovie copyright free library. Hopefully I answered. Oh, and sorry, yes, the recordings will be shared with you folks if you did miss the first part of my presentation. And then I'm just wrapping up because I know I have 5 minutes. So real quickly, actually, that's a good segue into tip number 9. So again, there are thousands of music files, images, videos that you can choose from. And yes, everything is royalty free, copyright free. It's funny because Laurel just asked that, I just answered it. So yes, it's great. And oops, sorry. Let me just move this out of the way. And so yeah, it's great for graphic design, for making flyers, for students making PowerPoint presentations, or in my iMovie presentation, I talked about how you know, students doing book reports, they can use iMovie. Now they can use Canva to do a book report, video themselves, put it in there, or use some of the fun free stuff in here and turn it into a book report, or demonstrating how to do a science lab or a PSA. So it's just a nice free platform that's kind of universal for students across the board. They don't have to have fancy equipment or, you know, an iPhone to edit video now. It's and I feel like it's just going to get better from here as far as the video feature goes. And then the last thing is, which I don't know if you're going to use it or not. I mean, I know there's software out there that can manipulate and import PDFs so that you can manipulate it. But one new thing with Canva is you can import a PDF. So if you get a form from the office that you got to fill out and turn in by the end of the day, and you want to maybe type in your name or whatever, you can import it straight to Canva. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. And it breaks it down as best as it can. It's not the best as far as like how accurate it's going to show up. It just depends on the document. So the more complicated, obviously, the document with like different lines and maybe graphics, I guess like I would say it's like so with converting it. But if it's just a simple document, you can definitely, it'll be really accurate. And that's where you can change the font and you can even add images or modify the text there. But it is nice because I know, especially like if you have old worksheets, for instance, that you don't have a digital file of, you don't want to type it all out again, to have it in a digital format, you can try Canva, upload the PDF. So maybe like scan it in the school office or use your phone, like a scanning app, upload it to Canva, and then see what it does for you. So I'm just going to show you real quick before I run out of time how I do that. So you just go to home, back to create design, back at the top, and it could be easy to miss because Canva has a lot of features if you haven't already noticed. But I'm just pointing it out to you. So this is where you would import that PDF. I'm just choosing this one that I found this earlier today that was sent from our HR. So discretionary leave requests. So if we want to take time off at our school. So you're seeing it just uploads straight to all your other designs. Takes a little time, but when you click on it, then you can edit it. So you see what I mean when it's like, for the most part, it's pretty good. You can still customize it. But that's just that's a feature you might never use as a teacher, but you know, it's good to know it's out there. Yeah. So that's kind of, I think that's the last of my tips. What I just showed you on how to import, again, it's there in a lot of text for you to read later if you prefer. Otherwise, just refer to this recording when it's emailed to you next week. Otherwise, I am open for questions, and I know we're almost out of time, so I'm happy to stay later if you need me to help you with anything specific. But are there any questions? All right, I think I'm going to turn it over to Debbie. She has a couple announcements for you folks.
Thank you. And Alyssa, if you want to put in your email address.
Yes, thank you. I'm actually just doing that.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. My computer is totally wait, my keyboard is totally lagging and I don't even know what it's typing in here.
If not, I can do it too. Let me
There's
know.
my email. Yeah, thank you everyone. I hope you learned something. I hope you can use in your class.
Oh, thank you. And then, AM Rivera says, being able to edit the PDF is nice. Thank you. It was sent to me, so it's sending it to you. And Brenda says, the PowerPoint link to, oh yes, I will go ahead and put the PowerPoint link up one more time for everyone to see.
Oh yes, thank you.
There. All right, so I sent it to all of you when you first logged in, but if you missed it, there it is. Okay, any more questions though? All right, well, mahalo to Alyssa and for everyone's participation. We hope you found this session helpful and made some valuable connections. I'm definitely gonna try this for me. Please help us complete the survey on iTeach808's website. And I'm putting it on there right now on the chat. The survey will also be sent to your email that you registered with. And if you don't see it, please check your spam. Once you complete the survey by February 4th, you'll be entered to win a Target gift card. So again, we would like to say thank you to Augustine Educational Foundation and Sacred Hearts Academy Honolulu. Much mahalo for attending this session, and we hope you attend the last session of the day. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.